Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to my platform, Dating Books. Now, this is the first video of the year, which is a book reading plus a book review session. For today's video, I've actually picked up this particular book that I read recently, finished recently in about 2 to 3 days. It's called Grandma's Bag of Stories by the author Sudha Murthy. Okay, so here is the book for you. Here is the one, Grandma's Bag of Stories. Now, it's a very short book and it's actually a book for the kids. I think I ordered it by mistake, but nevertheless, I thoroughly enjoyed reading it. Now, this has a lot of short stories, and the plot is such that there are these grandparents in the village, and their grandchildren come over to them during the summer vacation. They have like about four grandkids from two of their kids. They come over during the summer vacation and stay with the grandparents, and each night the grandparents, largely the grandmother, tells them a story. They're being called Ajja and Ajji. Okay, so it's set in Karnataka in a village called Shiggaon, and by way of telling these stories, the grandparents actually teach them a lesson, or come out with a moral for the kids to understand, to learn from these stories. The stories are pretty interesting. And I just loved reading through them. I think I finished it in about 2 days' time. It has just 170 pages. There are other books as well that she has written, which has short stories, which I'll be picking up soon. Now, a little bit about the author before we go ahead. Sudha Murthy is the wife of the famous IT businessman Narayana Murthy, and she herself is a philanthropist and she is an author. She has written many books. She had run this institution called Infosys Foundation, which provides or runs projects for charity. In fact, there is one more book which is 3000 Stitches, wherein she has written her stories on charity, on about running the Infosys Foundation. That's also a very good book. Apart from that, she's written many other books which are quite interesting. I have read quite a few books of hers, but this is the first one picking up something for the kids, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Okay, so that's about it. Now, I would like to read a particular story for all of you. There are a total of 7 kids here, four of their own kids, and three more kids of their relative also come and stay with them. So totally 7 kids stay with them, and each night they tell stories. I would like to read a particular story for you. You could actually read it out to the kids, or let them read it, or even read them yourself and then narrate it in your own style to the kids, because the stories are really interesting. And it's I think it's always a good practice to get the kids to read before bedtime, or at least tell them stories. So this is a very good book to start off with such kind of a practice or a habit. Okay, so now I'm going up with a book reading for this particular story, which is called Kaveri and the Thief. The children had gone with their Ajja, who's their grandfather, to the paddy fields that morning. They were all city kids and did not know a thing about farming. On the way, Anand was surprised to see a bird's nest on top of the tree. He said to Ajja, "I wonder how birds decide where and how to make their nests." Ajja said, "The straw in the nest is from the paddy field." "Do you know farming helps human beings as well as birds?" Krishna replied. "Ajja, I thought wheat and rice can be just plucked from trees like mangoes. But today I realize there is so much work in farming." That afternoon, after lunch, when they gathered around Ajji is their grandmother, for the day's story, she looked sharply at the children. They had enjoyed learning about farming activities like cleaning seeds and separating the straw from paddy. In the city, everything came from the supermarket. But here, they had seen how things were really produced. Ajji said, "Farming is very important. If farmers do not grow any food, what will we all eat?" Anand said thoughtfully, "If farmers do such important work, why are they so poor?" "That's true, my dear," Ajji sighed, fanning herself. "Of course, there are rich farmers too, people who own lots of land, but many in our country till small pieces of land and so make less money." Then, seeing the kids' crestfallen faces, she put on her fan, sat up, and said, "But I can tell you of a poor farmer woman who did not remain very poor, all due to her sharp wit." "Tell, Ajji, do tell," the kids yelled. So Ajji started her story. Now, this is the story. So every story starts off with a particular context. It's in a particular situation, and the grandparents want to teach them a particular moral through a story. So now the story begins. Kaveri's lazy husband annoyed her no end. Then she was working like a donkey in the fields, plowing and watering and tending a hard, dry piece of land while her husband snored away happily at home. Why? Once, when a stranger came asking for some food and water, he just pointed towards the kitchen and went back to sleep. The stranger, thankfully, was an honest man and took only enough for himself and his horse. Not that there was much to steal in Kaveri's little house. They were poor farmers with only a patch of land where nothing seemed to grow. Somehow, Kaveri tilled the land, did some odd jobs in the neighborhood, and made ends meet. The land was right next to a temple. On some days, her husband would come along with her on the pretext of helping her, but no sooner would her back be turned than she would find him stretched out near the temple courtyard gossiping the passing villagers. One day, as she was working in the field trying to dig up the ground so she could sow some seeds, a thin man with a big mustache appeared before her. He was a thief and up to no good. Kaveri, of course, did not know this. She greeted him politely and went back to her work. Now, the thief wanted to steal the coins that were given as offerings in the temple and perhaps even the ornaments on the idol. The only way into the temple was by taking his way in from Kaveri's land. But how could he do anything there with this tough, no nonsense woman working away? Guessing Kaveri was hard up for money, he whispered to her, "Sister, why are you working so hard on this barren land? I will give you 1000 rupees. Sell it to me." Kaveri raised her eyebrows. Why did he want to buy the land for so much money? Surely something was wrong. The thief sensed she was not about to sell it to him, so he raised his price. 1050? No. 2000? No again. 5000? No. Kaveri kept shaking her head. She did not like this odd looking man who was offering her so much money for the field. Clearly, he had some evil plans. Finally, to keep him quiet, she made up a story. "I will never sell this land. You see, it belonged to my ancestors. Now we are poor, but I'm told that once our family was very rich. Though we lost a lot of our money, much of it was also buried in here, in this field, by one ancestor to keep it safe from robbers. Then people forgot about it for years and years. My husband found a clue to the location of the hidden treasure just a few days back. Why do you think I'm digging this hard earth? Not to sow seeds. Oh no, that's just what everyone thinks. I'm actually looking for the hidden treasure." The thief was stunned. He felt this woman was really innocent, giving such important information to a stranger. He thought, why should I not take advantage of this situation? Here he was, hoping to steal a few coins from the temple, and this woman was telling him about hidden treasure. He replied in a very humble way, "Yes, sister, I understand. After all, it is your family treasure. Only you should get it." He pretended to walk away and went and hid himself a little way down the road. Night fell. Kaveri packed up her tools and headed home. The temple too emptied out and the priest locked it up for the night. Then at midnight, when all was quiet and the night creatures were coming out of their homes, the thief crept into the field. Now, all night he dug and dug looking for treasure, but of course there was no sign of it, as there had never been any treasure to begin with. By the time dawn broke, he realized Kaveri had made a fool of him, and all he could do now was get away from the field fast. When Kaveri reached the field, she grinned to herself, just as she had expected. The thief had spent the night digging up the land nicely for her. All she needed to do now was sow the seeds. She worked hard in the field for the next few months and managed to grow a good crop. She sold those and finally they had saved some money. With a part of this money, Kaveri bought some jewelry. Many months later, the thief decided to show his face in the village again. He was careful to disguise himself though. He trimmed his long mustaches, tied a colorful turban, and he pretended to be a traveling salesman. No sooner had he stepped into the village than he saw Kaveri going about her work. But what is this? Instead of simple, adorned lady he saw last year, she was now wearing jewelry, which looked as though it had been in the family for years. Surely she must have located that missing treasure finally. He was determined to look in her house and find the rest of her money and treasure. That night, he appeared at Kaveri's house and said to her husband, "I'm a traveler and don't have a place to spend the night. Please give me shelter for the night." Kaveri's husband agreed immediately. Kaveri, however, glimpsed the man from inside the house and saw through his disguise. She knew he was planning some robbery, and so she said in a low voice, making sure the visitor heard her, "Oh dear, your dear aunt is all alone at night and has asked us to come stay with her. You know how the dark scares her? When your uncle is not there," she was telling her husband basically, "come, let us go there for the night." Then, lowering her voice a bit, yet making sure she was heard clearly, she continued, "Don't worry about the jewels. I have hidden them in little holes in the house walls. No one will suspect the hiding spot." Then she came out and in her normal voice told the thief, "Brother, you can sleep in the veranda. The house will be locked. Here is some food and water for you. We will come tomorrow morning." The thief smiled to himself at Kaveri's foolishness. Her husband, meanwhile, stared at her with an open mouth, wondering which aunt and what jewels she was talking about. When she firmly walked off, he followed obediently. The thief could not believe his luck. He had the entire night to comb through the house, tap all the walls, and look for the hidden stash of gold ornaments. So he started tap, 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 kick, punch, and shove. He prowled and he tapped, he kicked and he pushed the walls, hoping to spot the jewels. Finally, he tore down all of the walls. But of course, there was nothing he could find. Exhausted, he fell asleep and woke only with the crowing of the cock as the sun rose. Quickly, he found his little bundle of things and ran off. Within minutes, Kaveri and her husband returned. "Oh, Kaveri, see what the bad man has done to our house. You gave him food and shelter and made me come with you, leaving the man alone in the night." Her husband wailed, but Kaveri was smiling. Then she broke into peals of laughter and said, "Don't worry, I had planned this all along. You see, I saved money from our last crop to rebuild the house. We needed to call in some laborers to help tear it down, but our guest has done it for us. Now we can make a larger house for ourselves just the way we always wanted." The whole village heard the story and started marveling at her intelligence. Many months flew by. The thief was burning to take revenge. How dare that village woman trick him? That too not once but twice. He realized that she was very clever. One day, he dressed up as a bangle seller and started wandering in the village. Kaveri spotted him and knew who he was at once. She said to her friends who were crowding around the bangle seller, "Oh dear, I'd have loved to get some for myself. But ever since that good for nothing thief tried to steal all the money by tearing down our house, I've hidden everything in a little hole in a tree in the woods." "Which tree?" her friends asked. "Oh no, I'm not saying which tree, but it is at last safe and sound out in the forest." The thief looked at her. Yes, Kaveri was wearing an ordinary sari with no ornaments at all. Friends turned around in astonishment, and the crash with which the bangle seller flung along his collection of bangles and made off for the forest. Only Kaveri watched with a grin on her face. Out in the forest, the thief searched high and low for their jewels. He climbed trees, poked around in the bushes, got bitten, scratched, and growled at. But he would not give up. The jewels were there somewhere and he had to find them. So that is where we will leave him, prowling around in the forest looking for money and gold that don't belong to him, that don't exist in the first place. Everyone praised Kaveri for her quick wit in ridding the village of the thief. She continued to work hard and made more money from her farming and became a rich old lady. And then her husband was shamed into giving up his lazy ways and helping her. As for the thief, who knows, perhaps he's still in that forest looking for what was never his. Now, if only he had learned to work hard like Kaveri, he would have been as rich. The children laughed and laughed when the story was over. The poor thief, Meenu and Krishna giggled. Maybe he got bitten even by a tiger. Ajji grinned. "See," she told Anand, "sometimes with a bit of luck and lots of pluck, people can always change any situation in which they find themselves." So that's the story, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked it, please do comment and let me know. And if you want me to read more, then please let me know that as well. I would be picking up her other books of short stories as well, so more stories will be on the way. In fact, right now I'm currently reading another book of hers. It's about these unusual tales of women from mythology, written by Sudha Murthy. So once that is done, I'll be giving a review of that as well. I hope you enjoyed this session. Please do subscribe to my channel and press the like button and the subscribe button. Happy reading, guys. Goodbye.